E.T. Hey, E.T.,
Hey.
what's up, buddy? Yeah, we
There
gotta
we are.
start things off. We gotta shake it out a little bit. E.T. Takaski, that's right, the U.S. Ambassador for Jack Daniels, joins me live from Los Angeles. My name's Chris Denman. I'm in St. Louis at Midcoast Studio. Very excited to be here on Drinks with the Band tonight. We've got BJ Barham of American Aquarium. Pumped to have him on. We were doing a little sound checking earlier, talking a little bit, and another Katie Tupin gem. She comes through with a booking, and we're all very excited to talk to BJ. Before we get into things, thank you to Jack Daniels. We'll make a cocktail. We'll tell some stories. We'll give away some things tonight, all because Jack Daniels and the good folks over there believe in this program, and also our friends at St. Louis Counseling Services. Thanks to them for the support, as well as Snappy Bigman Coffee. Very excited to present this each and every week. I co-host it with E.T. If you're new to the show, we make a drink, we hang out, and then we hear about 4 songs and some stories and get to know the artist a little bit better each and every week. So excited to be here. E.T., glad to have you once again, working our way to the end of season 2, and we're here, buddy. You've outdone the drink tonight, too, if I can start things off with a statement.
Yeah, I really wanted to make sure that you had no issues making this drink.
Yeah, you're very polite. Thank you. What a guy.
Yeah. It's a fun one, though. It's a fun one. Look, I figured this. For a lot of people after New Year's, they go sober January. Some people go sober January through December, which is cool, too.
Our guest is sober. Another great and I love that you guys support mocktails and just being responsible and just doing whatever you want. So I don't know. That's a cool part about working with Jack.
Jack Daniels in a dry county, so we do a lot of dry county cocktails.
For sure.
But for those that are going to imbibe tonight, I figured coming out of sober January, it'd be nice to do something a little bit different. And why not put all the Jack flavors in one glass? Right?
Do the little kid at the soda fountain? Is that what you're talking about? That thing? Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did a little research. When you're a kid, you just do it because it's fun. There's a book called the Flavor Bible. And it was written, I believe, by a couple that have eaten everything on the planet. And then they tell you what flavors go with what. So if you're home and you're like, what does 5 Spice pair with? You go to the 5 Spice page in the Flavor Bible, and it'll be like nothing. But for stuff like honey, cinnamon, and apple, all of them say together. Together, we're good apart, and we're good together.
Okay, walk me through this real quick. I'm gonna make enough for 2. We have shout out to Monk and producer Key also in the building. I'm gonna make an extra one of these for Key, so you'll see her snag it as she'll walk over. But walk me through. What are we having tonight? Right.
So if you didn't pre-chill your bottles, which you could do,
we did pre-chilled. Can't you see? There's a little frost down the bottom.
Oh, nice. So if they're pre-chilled, all you have to do is take your 2 glasses.
I think I want to chill them a little more.
All right, then you can chill a little more. Then pour an ounce of each bottle into your you just want to use your fancy tools.
I do. I want to show this off. A nice guy sent this to me from Los Angeles, so I'm going to use it. All right.
Yeah, so 1 ounce of each since you're making 2.
Okay.
So you got your honey. Now you got your Jack Fire, a little cinnamon.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, and we try not to make this an infomercial. I'm always surprised with the Jack Fire inclusions because I don't think I'm going to like it, and then you wow me with the flavors. So cheers to you. You kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah, that Jack Fire has a special place in my heart because that is the Jack Daniels that convinced my wife she likes Jack Daniels. When we were dating, she's like, I don't drink whiskey. I'm like, this could be a problem. This might be a red flag that I can't hide. And
there's a vodka rep across the room, hon.
Right.
Like maybe talk to him. Yeah.
No, she's a gin drinker. And Jack Fire was the one where she's like, I think I like Jack, and now she actually drinks Jack. Old number 7.
Shout out.
That's what said, you know what? Maybe I'll revisit. So now you have all of them in your shaker. Add a little bit of ice.
Yep, got the ice. I went ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Shake it up.
All right, shake, baby.
Yeah, nice. Look how good your shake's getting.
That's right. We're there.
Yeah.
Need some? Got you there? How I look? Conversation. Yeah. Hey, off the bar. Nice.
You don't have to stop shaking to talk. That's true. That's 201. That's the next class.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll remind everybody, we do give away prizes. If you hit share tonight, you're entered to win an American Aquarium T-shirt. So make that happen. Also got some Jack Daniels prizes as well. All right, safe to pour?
Safe to pour.
Let's party.
Safe to pour. I like, too, that you have your giant man hands. You don't even need to use two hands to shake the tin. You can just grab it.
I do resemble Shrek in some ways on this program at times.
Well, only from the shoulder down.
Yeah, right. All right. Let's party.
So there we have a three-eyed Jack. So
Got
everyone's playing nice together like the world should, right? You take three things that are seemingly so different it would never work together, and here they are. And now this is up to you. It's a shot, or you can do a sip, whatever you want.
Okay. I'll cheers to you.
Cheers, Key.
Cheers, everybody. Yeah, that's tasty. I trust you.
Apple works with cinnamon. Cinnamon works with honey. Honey works with apple.
Very nice.
They even call an apple Honey Crisp. You know what I mean? It's right there in the name.
I was about to say that was my nickname in college, but I like that as well for the drink. Let's get to it, man. You give away prizes every week as well, and I feel like maybe you're excited this week. You're a Philly guy. It's where you grew up. I don't know if there's any tie-ins to the prizes this week. You sent me a photo of one of the prizes. That got me pretty excited. That looks pretty cool. What are we doing for the Jack Daniels prize this week?
Well, first of all, you're going to win not one, not two, Chris Denman, but three prizes.
Three?
Yeah.
Interesting. How does that work? Okay. How do they win? What do they win?
I figured, so at Jack Daniels, three different people kind of oversee these babies, right? Like this is someone's baby, this is someone's baby, this is someone's baby.
Right.
So if I was going to put all three in a glass, I feel like I would be doing them a disservice by only giving away, let's say, a Jack Fire prize. But then the Apple person's like, what about me and my Apple, right?
Right.
So I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm advertising the Honey Prize, I believe.
What'd you call me?
Who's Chris? He's my Honey Prize.
What if somebody called somebody calls their significant other Honey Prize, right? Come here, Honey Prize. What do we?
That never goes over well ever, by the way.
I believe we have a jacket to show, right? Is that the prize? Look at that bad boy.
That is a real live Adidas track jacket with the Jack Honey logo. So that small, medium, large, XL will come to your door with surprise Apple prize and a surprise Jack Fire prize.
Look at you. What a giving young man. How do people enter to win this?
So that's a good question. So I was thinking, I like to keep everything music themed, and I've had a couple of early mornings this week, and I'm like, music really motivates people. And I feel like we all have that one song that no matter what your funk is, that song comes on and it changes your mood. And as you mentioned, I'm a Philly guy, and you heard me getting pumped up for your show by playing the Rocky theme song.
Okay, first of all, listen. Being from a city where there's probably like one song people would expect somebody from St. Louis to play these days anyway. I mean, if Country Grammar comes on, Nelly's making the internet rounds today for some drama. But I feel like people expect St. Louis people to just wake up listening to Country Grammar or something, or probably Chuck Berry at a certain point. So when you're rocking out to the Rocky theme, I'm so proud of you. I expect you to have a cheesesteak in one hand, a Phillies hat on, and just doing it right. So good for you.
Yeah.
Thanks for not disappointing.
Well, the thing is, ironically, of all the music in the world, and again, I grew up with my mother feeding me rock and roll, my dad feeding me Sinatra, but the first album I actually owned was the Rocky soundtrack. And I don't think my parents had any misguidances that I was going to become a NFL linebacker or the star center of the Sixers. But when you put on the Rocky theme song, you can conquer the world. Look what Rocky did. He was just the Italian stallion. No one ever heard of the guy. And then, he gets pulled out of obscurity. and goes 12 rounds to the champ.
My gosh, he did it. He did it so many times too. You know what? In these,
Still doing it at like 80.
right. Do it outside in the parking lot of a retirement center for the next one. Speaking of Rocky, we've got Rockies all across the world, including in St. Louis, a small business that supports this show, Music Record Shop. Ever heard of them? You did last week. We debuted it. We've got a special QR code. You can get exclusive discounts if you signed up for their newsletter. Hit that QR code. We're going to be showing this throughout the program, and we'll keep that up. We'll keep rocking it out. But it'll take you to their site. You can order vinyl, some CDs from American Aquarium, and if you do that, again, 10% off when you sign up for their newsletter. They're a small business, not unlike a Rocky type, fighting against the odds, always winning. That's right.
And one day they'll be the champ, right?
That's right. Working with Drinks with the Band, they will. So hit the QR code one more time, and we'll rock that out. And we'll talk to BJ in just a second. But again, thanks to Music Record Shop. Yes, back to your prize.
So to win the prize, put in the chat the song that gets you up in the morning. The song when you're driving cross country and you're about to pull over and take a nap. What song is going to keep you awake?
Right.
Before you go for that run, what song is the one that gets you from, I'll run tomorrow to I'm up and running right now? Okay. What is that song for you? What's that song for you, Mr. Denman?
Man, you hit me with you know what? I'll go, man, if you hear that opening lick of Thunderstruck by AC/DC, does that mean I'm pure white trash, or that I just embrace how I go? I would play that playing basketball. I would do all kinds of different things. Thunderstruck, there you go. I don't care if it is what it is. It's a blasting tune, my friend.
Look, I'm inspired by the song by a fictional boxer that's not even from Philly in real life. So
shout out to Bill Burr for the greatest rant of all time against Philly, by the way.
Yeah, I don't listen to that. Yeah, he's dead to me. What's crazy about Rocky is first they put the Rocky statue at the art museum where it was unveiled in Rocky 3, I believe. And then they decided it wasn't art and they put it at the Spectrum. And then the city and the fans of Rocky rebelled, and now it sits at the art museum where it belongs.
I'm so happy for Philly and Rocky, for that matter. Yeah. It's about time he won. So let us know in the comments. You can win a three-pronged prize. So cheers to all of you. E.T., I'm sure you spent a little time today catching up on our guest. Do you want to meet BJ?
I'd love to meet BJ.
BJ Barham. He's from American Aquarium. What's up, BJ? How are you, man?
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
Doing well.
I've been paying attention to y'all's ridiculous conversation, and yes, it's trash.
Listen, you know, some people you throw some hip hop on or something like that, but to really, really attack the court, you need those opening licks of Thunderstruck to run out and hit the basketball court. What's yours, BJ? Oh, sorry, E.T. Go ahead.
No, go out. I want to hear this first.
Yes.
When it comes to hype, for me, it's not really the basketball court. For me, it's like, hey, I've got an overnight drive to do. What's going to keep 4 a.m. after the Love's travel stop coffee wears off?
Yes.
It's DMX.
Nice answer.
I put on the DMX greatest hits, and I would fight my grandmother after the first 3 songs of that greatest hits record. Like, it's like I'm white knuckling at 4 a.m. Like, it's trucker speed for me. It's diluted trucker speed.
I need to, since you gave that answer, and I'll do it too. I won't leave you hanging on your own. Can I get your best DMX growl? Do you have one?
I've tried. I can't do it.
Oh yeah, no worries, man. That's all right. We'll find something else you're good at.
Maybe in the spur of a moment, like if I are by myself singing along, which feels just wrong at every turn. Right. I might give a growl, but nobody's ever heard it except for me, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I've even done it.
Okay. Perfect.
Do you ever do it and then check your phone? Like, shit, did I butt dial someone and then growled?
My wife my wife's been on the overnight drives with me, and she's like, "So, is it time for DMX?" And I'm like, well, I don't know if we want to go that far into the party. And then she puts it on and she looks at me as I'm like screaming the lyrics. So it's fun. It's something that most people looking at me wouldn't think would be my hype music. Most people would think it would be like Cotton Eye Joe or some shit like that. But it's actually DMX.
Now, E.T., you grew up on the East Coast, so I don't know if you had to deal with this. BJ grew up in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Did you have some sort of dance in like middle school PE curriculum? We had to do some sort of square dance or something, and they would fire up Cotton Eye Joe, and I'm like, can't we wrestle or do something instead of this? You had to do that too?
Wait, you had a dance in PE?
It was part of the thing. Every year they'd make us do that.
We had line dancing.
Yeah. What were they thinking?
Fishing in the Dark was our song. You and me go fishing in the dark.
You didn't have to do that in Philly?
No, we had to sit there and climb a rope like 30 feet in the air and be embarrassed when you couldn't do it.
That's why that's why our generation's soft.
Oh.
Yeah. We had you ever watched the Goldbergs?
Friday night. Yeah, you say you're a real man till you get to the Palomino Club, and then somebody asks you, man, I wish I'd have had 6th grade PE with Mr. Page where I knew how to dance to this damn song. Yeah. You can't climb a rope in the middle of the Palomino Club on a Saturday.
No, you can't. I think that's why I failed at life, because my gym teacher, I'm going to blame my gym teacher. How did I not learn line dancing as a child? And instead, you had me doing like dodgeball and climbing ropes and all the things.
We did ball and basketball and football, but like there was a week out of every year where we had like line.
I feel like,
and I don't know if it was for like the soft kids that like didn't really want to do sports, that they were like, hey, like maybe I can get the president for line dancing.
That's right.
Maybe it gave them a chance to shine. You know, some kids just aren't good at dodgeball. Maybe they could like really do the boot scooting boogie.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're not good at active things to begin with, dancing that shouldn't be your fallback. Like,
I guarantee there's one guy in every school who can't play sports that can dance his balls off. I guarantee.
Yeah.
Showing up to a dance at 13 with a bolo tie.
Always has a bolo tie.
Always. Everywhere he goes.
Growls when he runs. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. God, I wish we had this, because now I would have more stories of childhood trauma. We did. I was of the generation when breakdancing started. And I remember now that I didn't live downtown Philly growing up. So the caliber of dancing, because that was really like a lot of kids grew up like in Brooklyn and Philly on the streets breakdancing. And we were, at our school doing it. We were terrible. But if you could pull off the worm at the school dance, you were something. You were something.
I agree. E.T., we've got BJ here from American Aquarium. I want to remind everybody you can win a T-shirt. We'll get a T-shirt courtesy of Jack Daniels from the American Aquarium store. You guys, all you have to do to be entered to win that is hit share. And then if you let us know your hype song in the comments, you're entered to win a trio of Jack Daniels prizes. Also, this giant over here, Music Record Shop QR code will take you, and you'll directly purchase from a small business. You can buy American Aquarium vinyl or CD through a great local business right here in St. Louis. So they're down the street from us, and we're in the Kransberg Arts Center's .Zac building. So we'll hear some tunes. We've got 4 songs to hear from BJ. E.T., I do want to commend you. You've launched a new podcast yourself that we're working on together.
Yes.
You've worked super hard on it. Can you give people the guest list and the new name and all the fun stuff and the particulars? BJ, you'll probably think this is pretty interesting too. This is a great guest list.
Yeah, so thank you. So the new name, because I messed up on the first name, is Rock on the Rocks. And basically I'm interviewing people that are either musicians or have worked in the music business. So people like Henry Diltz, who was the official photographer of Woodstock, and he shot that Morrison Hotel album cover, and on and on and on and on. Tomorrow night, Terry Reid will be on the show. Terry Reid, 60s, came out. He was the guy that introduced Robert Plant to Jimmy Page. In 1968, Aretha Franklin was touring Europe, and she was in London, and she's famous for saying there's only three things happening in England: the Beatles, the Stones, and Terry Reid. And people went on to cover. I mean, he's had a rocky career in terms of this should have been this should have been that. But at the end of the day, he's played music his whole life. He's played every festival imaginable. He's opened and played with everybody. And I met him about 20 years ago, and I can't wait for this because he's just so fun to listen to. And he's got story after story after story of Hendrix and the Doors and the Stones, and it's just nuts. So he's on tomorrow night. So it's YouTube.com/Rock on the Rocks.
Yes, be sure to check that out. Subscribe, check it out. He has more great guests coming up. So, E.T., pleasure as always. Thank you for the Three-Eyed Jack and the prizes. So get those comments in. Be sure to hit share, and we'll hook you up with an American Aquarium T-shirt, one of you. BJ, you're in a hotel in Nashville. Somebody, like everybody tuned in to Drinks with the Band's getting this free show, but I want to know if the neighbors in your hotel room realize the treat that they're privy to this evening as well.
Most people are here to relax, and I'm about to like really mess up their like staycation. Like they're probably here like on an anniversary. This is like the husband's like one day away from the kids at a 365,
Yep.
and he's primed. And you're gonna hear me talking about how love never works out, and it's never happened for him. He's really stoked that he got the room right beside of me, I'm sure. But I haven't knocked and asked yet, so.
Well, we'll see. Maybe about song 3, you'll get a knock at the door, and we'll have a Drinks with a Band first.
It's totally for real.
I'm so excited. E.T.,
That's amazing.
you're the man. We'll see you next week with the Minx.
All right, good to see you, man. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Take
man.
care. All right.
Awesome. It's Drinks with the Band and BJ Barham. Take it away, man. How about that first song?
Yeah, I'm gonna play some stuff off our new record. Had a new record come out in May called Lamentations, and this is the first track off that. They say you ain't been the same since you laid that bottle down. The songs ain't got no soul, the band's done lost its sound. Get your head out of the clouds, boy. Pretty soon you'll realize sometimes the finest thing you can do for a dream is let it die. But I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here until the work's done. I ain't ever been the kind of guy that's gonna cut and run. So I'll pick myself up every time I fall. Buddy, I'm in it for the long haul. You see, the hardest part of getting sober is learning a drinking buddy ain't the same thing as a friend. Just like the hardest part of starting over is admitting to yourself that something has come to an end. But I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here until the work's done. I ain't ever been the kind of guy that's gonna cut and run. So I'll pick myself up every time I fall. Baby, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm as solid as a redwood when she's standing by my side. Got the patience of a sunset, her last nerve's a mile wide. It's the last Sunday after supper. I ask her why she stays. She said I ain't gonna be just another song about walking away. 'Cause I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here until the work's done. I ain't ever been the kind of gal that's gonna cut and run. So I'll pick myself up every time I fall. Honey, I'm in it for the long haul. Yes, I'm in it for the long haul.
From the new album, my gosh, you sound great, man. And if those neighbors, if the neighbors don't appreciate it, I've got something for them. I'm upset.
Yeah, it's the cell phone technology has come a long way.
I'm into it
over the years.
It absolutely has. Now, I'm curious. So it's from the new album. When was that? I remember when you released it. When was that exactly?
We released it May 1st of last year, right in the middle of a global pandemic, which is not exactly the most opportune time to put out new music. But the fans reacted, and it did for us. It did better than any other album we've ever put out. It charted at #1 on the Billboard Americana charts, #2 on the country charts, and #2 on the Billboard rock charts. So it was a gamble that kind of paid off for us.
I was going to say that. I thought I remembered seeing a tweet from you or something. Again, shout out to Katie Tupin for hooking us up with you. And she's told me about you for forever. And I've got friends. I'm just going to shout out everybody. My buddy Matt's been seeing you at house shows and all of these places. So a lot of people around me have enjoyed your music for a long time. So I've kept just kind of an eye on things. And I remember you laughing at somebody on Twitter or something and be like, I'm doing just fine. Our album's #1 on Billboard. And I just remember thinking, like, that is amazing. In the middle of a pandemic at that time, we still don't really know when it's kind of shake back to normal. But at that time, I mean, that had to just feel extra special. I mean, you couldn't be out on the road. That's a tough part, right? You guys are a hard touring band. But to have that and to hit that achievement, I mean, it had to mean the world to you.
Yeah, it felt really good. Like I said, everybody, the egotistical part of the creative person thinks that everything they create is great. But when it's validated, when other people tell you that they enjoy it as much as you enjoyed making it, it's a good feeling. And especially, when you have to cancel an entire tour. We had an entire summer tour planned. We had an Australian tour planned, a European tour planned. So when all that gets canceled, very few things can pick you up. But watching your name at the top of the Billboard charts for a week is a heck of a pick me up. I'll tell you that right now from firsthand experience.
It has to be too, and I don't know kind of your personal feelings on you all as artists or a band. I could probably track it just from like the venues that you play at and the type of people that like your music. Do you see does it almost feel like a little bit more of a win because maybe you aren't taking the route that some folks take to get to that #1 spot? Like it feels like you've taken a genuine walk to get there.
Yeah, it's like I said, we debuted at #2 on the Billboard country charts, and the person that beat us was Kenny Chesney, and
I've heard of him.
But yeah, exactly. I think most people have. Yeah, but we sold almost 12,000 records on week 1, which is ridiculous for an independent band. And Kenny Chesney sold almost 200,000 records, and then we realized because he bundled it with ticket sales for his summer arena tour. Felt really good because we know that 2 spot was earned like really hard by like hitting pavement and building a fan base one at a time, and we didn't have to bundle a record with summer tour sales.
That's really interesting. Yeah, and that's the behind the scenes stuff that like I really enjoy learning about whenever I talk to people. Again, too, this is your livelihood. You could have just sat back and been like, screw it, whatever. I'll go back whenever we can go back to tour. You could have delayed your album release. Could have done a lot of stuff, but to get it out there and then to have that extra validation, like cheers to you guys, man. That's so great to hear.
Thanks, man. I've always stood by. I think that, you can either complain about a problem or you can adapt to it. And I had a couple days where I was, pretty sad about canceling an entire 6-month tour. But then I started figuring out people still need music. They still need art. They still need music and literature and movies, and that stuff has to be delivered still. Like, people still need to be engaged creatively. And so and a lot of my friends have been putting out records throughout the pandemic and doing kind of live streams from Instagram and Facebook, and trying to keep their art in the hands of people that really want it and need it at a time like this, and we had to continuously tell ourselves that people are stuck at home for 5 months, a year and a half. They want to consume that new art. And so we've seen such a growth in album sales just because people are they have the time to sit down and listen to albums again.
Right. And I know we were kind of being silly, but we're so excited to be working with this business here, Music Record Shop. They work directly with your distributors, your label, and they'll hook you guys up with, I believe, 10% off. Sign up for their newsletter. You can get American Aquarium vinyl directly from using the QR code that we've got right here for Music Record Shop. So, BJ, I'm going to get to know you a little bit more. There's people tuned in from all over the world that are fans of yours. So I know they want to hear some more songs. If you've got another one, I'd love to hear it.
I got another one.
You got a few? Yeah.
Yeah. Here's this was the first single off the record. This was the thing we actually put this single out before the pandemic hit. We put this single out in February. And before we thought, back when we thought it was just going to be like a 2-week stay at home, we'll get through this pretty quickly. Turns out I haven't been able to play any of this record live yet for people. So it's exciting to play a single that has never been heard in a group of people.
Well, we got you covered. You've got a great crowd tonight. So
I appreciate that. This is a song called The Luckier You Get. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The more you get done, boy, the less you'll regret. Write it down so you never forget. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get. I turned 13, my old man sat me down. Said, boy, there's only 2 ways out of this town. That Greyhound bus that's boot camp bound. Put your nose in a book and keep your ear to the ground. So I set off for college, but it weren't for me. Then I got a guitar and started playing for free. Wrote a couple hundred bad ones till I had 2 or 3. I thought was good enough, folks might pay me to sing. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The more you get done, boy, the less you'll regret. Write it down so you never forget. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get. I've heard far less yeses than I have no, seen far less highs than I have lows. Rather get to the top, steady and slow, than get there too fast with nowhere to go. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The more you get done, boy, the less you'll regret. Write it down so you never forget. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
I grew up in southeast Missouri, and I feel like I've been having that song sang to me since I could walk. So that's...
I think anybody who grew up in rural anywhere United States definitely was told you could work yourself out of any situation.
And you know what? I love when it comes true. Yeah.
I've had to watch it. Like, as a kid, I used to complain. I'm playing sports. Like, I used to always blame my lack of athletic ability on luck. And every time a kid would hit like a winning shot or get like a winning catch or something, I'd be like, that kid got lucky. And my dad had to explain like the really hard truth is like, that kid's not lucky. That kid just worked harder than you did and when he got the opportunity, he didn't let his entire family down. So I decided to write a much more tasteful version of that.
Yes, you did it. You did a great job with it. No, that's the thing. I'll never forget finding out. And like when you're in like 6th grade and maybe there's like the kid who stays the same height for the rest of high school, has like some muscles or something. I remember telling my dad, I was like, I learned in biology, like my body type's just not the type to be really shredded right now. And he's like, you're 11. Like, what are you talking? Like, he's like, go do push-ups if you want those. Like, that's what you gotta do. So yes, that mentality from that song.
Started like early. It was like, you know what? I'm just not supposed to be this guy. It's biology, Dad.
Yeah. I'd have jacked arms, if you guys would have just passed down the right caveman DNA, you jerks. So, yeah, someday.
It's your dad.
Yeah, I hope he understands that to this day, that it's his fault. No, you mentioned you had the new album come out. You've been doing a bunch of different, I guess, streams and interviews and different things like that. I know you're literally. I'm assuming you talk about it. You go to Nashville to write songs. Have you focused in on something previously that previously maybe you weren't happy with how much time you were spending on it?
Yeah, I look at this as a valuable time for artists. Everybody always complains that they can't get things done because they didn't have time. I was too busy. I was on the road too much, or I was doing this and doing that. And I've really found a lot of solace in, once you get past all the just negativity of like waking up and like seasonal depression and realizing that you're not going to be able to tour for like another year. Mm-hmm. Putting pen to paper every day and trying to get better at the craft. There's no excuse now for artists. There's no excuse of, well, I've got something else to do. I need to go do this. And so usually I put a record out every couple years, and I've already written almost 2 records during all of this. And so back in May, while I was being extremely creative, like I finally ended up signing a publishing deal and started writing songs.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I started writing songs for other people, and I started writing songs. And then I realized, that Nashville was a place that might be a good spot for a songwriter. Who would have thought that coming and visiting Nashville every now and then, I might have a chance to write some songs. And I got really lucky. The Nashville scene here in town named me one of the top 10 songwriters in the country. And in a town like Nashville, word spreads pretty quick about that kind of accolade. And so I've got to write with some of my heroes. I've got to write some songs that are going to be on their next records. And it's nice to be able to kind of have the fruitful creativity during this time to write my own stuff, but also kind of work out another side of my brain that I never really thought was an opportunity. I always thought of songwriting as something very personal and that I did, but now I'm realizing that like I can completely flip on another side of my brain and do it with somebody else. And it's opened up so many doors for me, like just in the last year. And that would have never happened if it wasn't for, being stuck at home for a year.
No, and it's fine. To go back to your song, you can apply the exact same reasoning to improving at the craft of songwriting. All of a sudden, your collaborators are much better, and all of a sudden, you're like, "Whoa, wait a second, this guy's really good." It's like, well, no, you fixed yourself too, where you're way easier to work with, or your brain flows where it's going to match up with them if you're teaming up with somebody.
Yeah, I've learned, so like every kid starts off, 20 years old, you got a guitar, you're playing in front of like 20 people in a bar. Nobody's going to tell you anything. Like you got it, you mastered it. You're not paying for your drinks tonight.
That's right.
You've made it, man.
That's right.
Local hero status. But then you grow and you ruin relationships and you write bad songs. Then you write a better song, and then you write a better song, and then you learn how to treat people. You learn how to interact with people, and you learn it. Songwriting is not like this magical thing. It's a craft. It's something that you have to work at. Unless you're John Prine, you don't just come out of the womb writing really great songs.
Writing American Treasures. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like look back. His debut record is a greatest hits album. Nobody does that. You start off writing bad songs, and then you write not so bad songs, and then you write songs that are listenable, and then you might, if you're lucky, if you do it long enough, you start writing songs that matter. You start writing songs that affect people on a deeper level, and that's the fun part. Like a guy like me who really has to like treat it like a craft and work at it. It's like cabinet building. Like nobody's going to show you their first set of cabinets they built. They were hideous. Line up, but guess what? You can go online and buy my first set of cabinets for 99 cents a piece on Apple iTunes.
We didn't put that in the music record shop QR code. You're good. You're good.
Probably shouldn't. We probably should. You start at the front, the new stuff, and then work your way back until it's not listenable, and then stop. And be like, man, I really appreciate that. His second act was really solid, but that first act was horrific.
But it takes that to build to the other stuff, man. I am curious, and I don't want to let you get away without dropping any names. Any names you can share that you got to collaborate with, or is that kind of under wraps still?
Yeah, until it gets on their records, I can't say anything.
I got you.
Because I'm vying for a spot. There's 10 to 12 songs on everybody's records.
Yeah.
Helps that I'm writing the songs with the people.
All right, give me. Let's. Was it Big or Rich? Which one of the two?
I'm going to go ahead and say neither.
Okay, got it. All right.
You'll see me post about it when they get cut.
Good.
The thing about this world is everybody wants to write songs with the people that are on the radio, and so you write songs with them, and they probably write 100 songs a year, and they only get to pick 10 of those songs. So you're vying for one of 10 spots on a record, and then let's say you want to have that single. You're out of those 10 people, you're hoping that your song gets picked as the single, and it's a weird game that I'm really having a lot of fun playing. Just writing songs and trying to get better every single day, and trying to kind of expand my viewpoint.
No, that's incredible, and I love that too, because sometimes you'll think like somebody's just like, oh, he's a guy who tours and plays music. But for everybody tuned in, you're hearing right now that a tenured musician who tours all the time found himself not reinventing, but just improving the craft and getting better. And then through that work, getting more opportunities for yourself. So, man, I love that. And I love that. I think we'll hear quite a few of those kind of stories come out of this past year or so once we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, for sure. Everybody I've talked to has found something else, and maybe it's not as multifaceted as just picking up something else in the music business. Like I've got musician friends who are like baking bread and selling it around town, like finding other stuff that they're like truly passionate about that they would have never discovered it if they'd been touring 250 days a year.
Right.
You find a love of a sourdough starter when you're in a TA travel stop 250 days a year. You got to be at home to really fall in love with a good sourdough starter.
It is, and I'm excited to learn more about the sourdough starter. I know we've got a couple more songs to hear. I do want to remind people, all you have to do is hit share, and we'll hook one of you up with an American Aquarium T-shirt from the store. You'll be supporting them, and just hit share. We'll keep this thing rocking. I will say we've got, I guess, after tonight, we've got 3 shows left this season. It's been so fun, man. We've got the Minx next week, so shout out to the Minx. We'll be having them on. And then the week after that, we have Sadler Vaden. Very excited to talk to Sadler. Very talented young man from the 400 unit and a great solo artist as well. And then we haven't announced our final guest yet, but that'll be a fun one as well. I'll promise you that. I'm learning from BJ. It's like you set it up. Little tease.
Once you got to slowly hand out those kernels.
That's right. Just showing a little leg. We're letting them know what's going on here. BJ, if you want to hit it for the next song, man, you sound great. I'm having a blast. Thank you for coming on, and we've got 2 songs left, so I'll let you get after it.
Having me on, man. This is a tune called "Starts With You." They say you're only as sick as your secrets. That's the truth, and friend, I'm dying. Spent a lifetime salvaging shipwrecks. Falling so long I thought I was flying. I've been falling so long I thought I was flying. Most folks I know don't have a problem reaching out when they're in trouble. But I'm the kind of guy that hits a rock bottom, laughs and asks you for a shovel. I just laugh and ask you for a shovel. Any day that ends in Y is a good day to wreck it. Rip it all to pieces just to start brand new. But then I met you, changed my way of thinking. Now I don't want a day that doesn't start with you. Don't want a day that doesn't start with you. She said, why do you play all them sad songs? Who wouldn't hurt you so badly? I just laughed and said, baby, them sad songs is the only thing that makes me happy. Yeah, sad songs, they make me happy. Like a dream, she disappeared into the distance. That's when I knew that I'd been bitten. She made me smile more in that instant than any sad song ever written. Hell, every sad song ever written. Any day that ends in Y is a good day to wreck it. Rip it all to pieces just to start brand new. But then I met you, changed my way of thinking. Now I don't want a day that doesn't start with you. Don't want a day that doesn't start. I've been running down these roads my whole life. Set up shop on the wrong ones at least a couple dozen times. All of this to say, I just had to get out of my own way to get to you. 'Cause any day that ends in Y is a good day to wreck it. Rip it all to pieces just to start brand new. But then I met you, changed my way of thinking. Now I don't want a day that doesn't start with you. Don't want a day that doesn't start with you.
Have you gotten a knock yet?
I haven't got a knock yet. Nobody's, and the phone hasn't rang either. Usually people don't have the fortitude to just come and take care of it. Usually it's a knock from, it's like, excuse me, this is the front desk. You are being exceptionally loud. We haven't got any of that yet, so we're good.
They're holding up their lighters in their rooms across the way.
Couple next door is Day. They're just like, man, we got live. People are so starved for live entertainment right now. They'll take to the walls of a hotel.
What if you open up the door and there's like a couple sitting there and they've got like a towel set and then like a cheap bottle of like chilled red wine? Just, oh, don't stop. This is great. I think maybe that's a possibility.
4 seconds before I call security. There'll be an audience. That's what this feels like. Oh, wait, this is creepy.
This is weird. Yeah, that's right.
I should have y'all could have tuned in on Facebook and made this way less weird.
Right. The numbers, we need them. No, that's perfect, man. I'm curious too, and you don't have to, if you've already checked it off the list and we can't talk about it, no big deal. But if you had someone that you haven't worked with yet, that you would want to get into a room and write some songs with, can you share that? Like, who is around today that's still working that you haven't gotten the chance to yet, that maybe you'd slide into that room and it'd be a dream come true to work with them?
I don't know. I've been really fortunate in my career. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I've been really lucky. I've got to work with really great people. Shooter Jennings, just produced our newest record. We've done a record with Jason Isbell. We've done a record with Brad Cook. We've done a record with John Fulbright. Like the last 4 guys we've done records with have all been nominated for Grammys for production. Like we've been really, really lucky. But if there's one person, I think not work with, I would just like to say hello to the man. Springsteen is up there. If I could shake that man's hand, and tell him thank you for inspiring a kid from North Carolina to write songs. I'll tell you how good of a songwriter Bruce Springsteen is. He made a kid from Reidsville, North Carolina, actually want to go to Asbury Park, New Jersey. The very first tour I ever did, I booked a show in Asbury Park because I was like, this is like Mecca. Like I've read stories about like how
gosh,
up and down the coast, and like this is where we're gonna make it. Like this is where our sound is gonna hit. And I get there, and that's when I realized I'm like, if Bruce Springsteen can romanticize this place, like he's the greatest songwriter ever to live. Like when you can make that place sound great, when you can make that place like desirable. Asbury's gotten a lot better since my first time there 15 years ago. But Springsteen, to answer that question, Springsteen is the guy I would love to shake his hand and say, man, thank you for making me write. Friends, like that's the guy that made me start writing songs.
Yeah, and that's a great. I think that qualifies you to be a sports writer now as well. Like every sports writer's, all they talk about is Springsteen. No, we kicked off season 2 with the great Brian Fallon from the Gaslight Anthem, and he.
Brian's a friend. He's up there, man. He's one of those. I would love to write a song with Brian. The Gaslight Anthem was. We had just started the band when 59 Sounding came out. I think we were probably 2 or 3 years in. Yeah. 59 out, and I was like, wow, this is what Springsteen would sound like if punk rock kids played it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the most heartfelt, like simple, perfect description ever.
Oh man, it's working class anthems. Like country music is just punk rock slowed down. It's all 3-chord songs about hating your hometown, drinking too much, and broken relationships. Like there's a reason like punk rock dudes pick up acoustic guitars is because you get to play punk rock. Like at a certain point, the punk rock kids like realize like, oh, it's really sad to be 45 singing about high school. Like maybe I should pick up an acoustic guitar, same chord progressions, just slow it down a bit and talk about like the mill. Yes. Or talk about it's totally. Brian's great. Like his songwriting, his new record was on my like top 10 list. Local Honey was up there with it was one of the best records of last year.
I agree. I was about to say, totally unrelated, you can get former punk rocker Brian Fallon's slow acoustic album, Local Honey.
It's fantastic, though.
So good.
Yeah. I didn't say anything wrong with it. I'm saying it's a formula. It's a formula that I love because you get the same kind of passion, but then it gets put in this like really like intimate setting. Like with punk rock stuff, like a lot of times you can get away with not saying anything. But you have somebody like Brian who's a poet screaming punk band. When you strip that punk band away and just put that poetry to an acoustic guitar, I think it translates. It hits way harder.
It does. It cuts. It gets in there.
Because, like, realistically, he could have said anything in the Gaslight Anthem, and it would have just sounded badass.
Because of those strong starts and
because how big it is. But he can even take those songs and put it on an acoustic guitar, and it's gut wrenching because it's these really great stories and this really great prose. It doesn't matter what kind of music you set it to. Like a good story is going to translate, whether it's a punk rock song or a country song or a folk song or whatever you want to do it as. I forgot who said it, but a good song isn't a good song unless you can play it on an acoustic guitar with one guy singing it. It's like that's what makes a good song. If you can strip it away to one instrument and one voice and it still punches you in the throat, that's a great song. And I think Brian is a shining example of what you don't like. You can strip all of the badassery away and it's still badass.
It is too, and he man, what was the stolen car? I'll have to look it up. He did a Springsteen cover for us, and I was like, "This is the most Brian Fallon moment I could ever wish to have." So, shout out to Brian Fallon. Yeah. Great dude. I am curious too. Have you ever gotten a hold of maybe it's past work, maybe it's something more recent? You mentioned, evolving, getting better. Is there any writing? Maybe it didn't even make it to album. Is there a premise that you ran with while writing a song that you're just absolutely just like, ooh, never again? Like, what was I thinking whenever I was going down that road?
I've 15 years in, you look back at some of that early work, the bad cabinets that we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
And you grimace a little bit, when you start writing, you haven't found your voice yet. You're really relying on a lot of classic tropes and cliches. And listening back to some of those, there's a lot of early songs that I wish I could have a do-over. I wish that
Who's 36 to say you can't? I think you can.
I could just repackage it, rename it, and I don't think too many people would be none the wiser. But there's certain songs where I listen back, I'm like, man, I really had a cool idea. I just wasn't the writer yet that I needed to be to fully realize what that song could have been. And that's the first 3 records for me. The first, I don't think we really started finding our voice until the 4th or 5th record. Our 5th record was Burn, Flicker, Die. We did that with Jason Isbell down in Muscle Shoals. And that was the first record that, kind of the before and after. That was where the light switch flipped, and we started to develop this, I guess, what our fans would call our sound.
Sure.
Before that, just throwing as much at the wall and seeing what stuck. Like, so many different influences bled through those early records. It took us 3 or 4 records to really kind of find our sound, realize who we were as people and as a band. And then, I think you could put just about anybody in a room with Jason Isbell, and he's going to make them sound like they know what they're doing.
Is there any surprise? It's so funny to see that, just because I think of my own. Like, I'm 36, and I probably saw Drive-By Truckers in Columbia, Missouri. You've played the Blue Note. You were talking about that earlier before the show. I probably saw Drive-By Truckers like open for somebody or something. 15, maybe with old 97s. Who knows? But is there any surprise to that guy's ascension, since you brought it up? Like, I just find that to be so interesting, and it feels like Fame got it right, or whatever Jason's doing feels right. Like, that guy in this sober mindset, with this family, with these messages, sometimes the Fame part goes the right way. And I don't know if this is just something unique to him, but is it surprising to see that? I mean, you've worked with him intimately. I think that's got to be super interesting to see someone go from, respected dude in a great band to whatever he is now.
Yeah, Fame got it right. I think that you nailed it. But I also think that a lot has to be said for sobriety. I think Jason's the reason I got sober. I watched Jason get sober, and a year later I got sober. You can't watch somebody's life change for the positive that much and not think that they're onto something. I always equate sobriety to Jason was like an Olympic runner who ran his entire career with his shoelaces tied together up until he got sober. And he was still outrunning most people. But then one day he sat down and realized, wait a minute, if I don't tie my shoelaces together, I could probably be faster than a lot of these people. Yeah. And that moment of and so much is to be said for clarity. So many of my favorite songwriters, I think I got a lot better once sober. There'll be fans that will tell you they like my earlier stuff, my drunken, broken stuff, way better. But as a writer, as a person, I got sober, I got married, I had a kid. I don't think any of that's coincidence. I think that nobody ever says, man, I got sober and everything went to shit. It's always the opposite. It's always, man, I got sober. My life took a pretty positive change.
Yeah.
I think Jason is a shining example. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that if you stop drinking tonight, you're going to win 4 Grammys. No. I'm telling you, whatever you apply yourself to, I think you could do it better when you're sober.
Sure.
And I think Jason went from being kind of in this box to, once he took the lines away, we're seeing what happens. We're seeing, I don't throw voice of a generation around loosely, but there's not going to be many people around my age that are writing songs like this.
Right. Well, and it's a good example of he's collaborated and gets help, I'm sure, as well, but just the way kind of popular music goes, it is interesting just to see the different paths that you can go down. So yeah, it's
truly inspiring, and I know that I'm not the only person that, like, when you watch a friend make a huge life change, and then it inspires you to make a life change. Like, think about the countless drunk rednecks out there that have changed their life for the better because Jason Isbell stopped drinking.
right.
Like, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, and I think his messaging's strong too. He stands up for what he believes in, and again, too, it takes those kind of people to kind of set some people on the right path. So, man, cheers to you guys too, man. This saw the Topo Chico. That makes me think of festivals, man, because they always have a presence, man. Oh.
Yeah, it's it was when I first got sober. This was the stuff that really helped. Like, at bars, playing bars every night for a living, trying to be sober. Having a glass bottle of carbonated cold beverage to walk around, have something in my hand to talk to people with and drink. Topo is it, man. They got me.
We had Abraham Alexander on, is super talented guy out of Fort Worth, Texas. He's a guy who was like opening for the Black Pumas right before everything went to shit. Like, was going to have that move, but I was laughing because we have ET on, the U.S. ambassador for Jack Daniels, and I'm like, man, isn't it wild just the ascension that a little club soda has? Like, is it just because it's a cool bottle and it's old school? And he's like, ET. It helps if Coca-Cola buys you. Like, that's like how big they've gotten. But I like their presence at music festivals, and it reminds me of good times. So
yeah, I like that Coca-Cola bought them, and now they're in every gas station I go to. So it used to be like hitting like a honey hole. Like, you'd get to a certain gas station, like one row of the glass bottles, and now they have like all the glass bottles and plastic bottles and 2-liter bottles. Like,
yes.
I think you nailed it. Like, when Coca-Cola buys you, you tend to get put in front of a few more people.
Here and there. Yeah. I've been drinking these green tea club soda things just for like energy that's not just trash energy. And I'm like, wow, these are delightful. This is great. It's got a little energy. And I look, and it's Coca-Cola's pushing it. It's like, good for them.
You're talking about the, what's the name of those?
Aha.
Yeah. Oh, dude. They're great. Those green tea lemon ones are choice.
All day.
Again, it's like Coca-Cola's like, oh, you're competing against us. We will buy you.
Yeah.
And it's a weird deal with the devil. It's like, we're going to own you, but like, you'll be in a lot more places.
Exactly, man. Well, I'm looking forward to the next American Aquarium album brought to you by the good folks at Coca-Cola. So we'll see how that works.
When I go into like a gigantic American conglomerate, they're the sponsor of the next record.
Perfect. We've got one more song for the people at home. I'll remind everybody, we do this show every Wednesday. We've got the QR code for the American Aquarium vinyl. If you want to go through Music Record Shop, hook that up. We'll be playing that while BJ's playing his last song. So excited to hear that. But again, we do this each week. And then if you hit share, you could win an American Aquarium t-shirt. And if you let us know the number one song that gets you hyped in the comments, you're also entered to win some Jack Daniels prizes. So, BJ, let's get another song, and then we'll come back and say bye to the people.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
The only thing certain is we end up alone to pick up the pieces of our once happy home. She took all my records, the hits, the unknowns. She took all the Beatles, she took all the Eagles, she took all the Stones. And lonely ain't easy, and lonely ain't kind, and lonely won't leave me, she's a good friend of mine. 9 years of my life that I'll never get back. Ain't it funny how the good times never outweigh the bad? problems we had. Yeah, I was always gone. She was all alone. What chance did we have? 'Cause lonely ain't easy, and lonely ain't kind, and lonely won't leave me. She's a good friend of mine. See, I followed the rules, and I played the part. And all I got left is this 10-man heart. No matter how hard I try, it won't seem to start. She said, I'll always love you. She said, I'll never leave you till death do us part. 'Cause lonely ain't easy, and lonely ain't kind, and lonely won't leave me. She's a good friend of mine. She's there every morning, she's in the bed when I get home. Sometimes I wish lonely would just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
You folks tuned in at home better not be leaving BJ alone. You better be buying that album. You better be supporting. You better be ready to rock and roll whenever he gets back out on the road. Whenever you hear all these songs he's been working with, who'd we say, Big and/or Rich on. So I'm excited to see more work out of BJ. Again, I've shouted her out a bunch. She helps books the show, Katie Tupin. I can't thank her enough, and I can't thank you enough, man. This has been an absolute delight. I'm a huge fan, and I'm excited for you to come back through St. Louis, or we'll have to link up another time, man. This has been an absolute, just great show. So thank you so much.
This has been a lot of fun, man. Like I said, I would just be like in a random hotel room tonight, and instead I get to play for people in their homes and have a fun conversation about DMX and Coca-Cola. So I feel like it's a win.
I think so, and we'll get that growl out of you someday, maybe in a live version of the show. Who knows? Maybe we'll work it out.
It's going to have to be like a random butt dial where I randomly call you and I'm barking into the phone.
I gotta, not to name drop, but somebody who plays a fiddle, who was on the show a couple weeks ago and tours the country. Lily Mae gave you a nice shout out as well. So that was a little bit earlier. So I believe she writes with somebody in your band, or has, or something as well. So yeah.
My old pedal steel player, I think her and my old pedal steel player are real good friends.
Isn't that, man? What a small world, and I'm lucky to be brought into just a little bit of it. So man, thank you again, BJ. What a show.
Heck yeah, man! And thanks to Katie for setting this up. Like it was fantastic.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, my friend. We'll have to do something again soon. And guys, shout out to all of you. Lots of great, very, very cool comments. We give the prize away. I contact people after the show, so we're gonna have a T-shirt winner and that Jack Daniels prize winner. BJ, we'll do something again soon, man. Thank you so much for your time.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, see you guys next week. Drinks with the band. We're out.